You don't have one of those things that like... I'll get you one for your birthday.
Hey everyone, I'm here with the nicest person that I know, Jeff. And we're going to talk about his F80 M3 journey and why he calls it the F80 Curse. Can you give us a bit more background on your journey with this car?
Yeah.
What made you get to an F80 M3?
Yeah, so it was obviously the pandemic hit a couple of years ago, and my wife and I made a couple of decisions, and things actually went really well for us during the pandemic, where we said, you know, now's the time where we can buy ourselves a toy or something like that. So the journey started literally as the pandemic hit. I had an old 328 convertible.
I've seen that one.
It was it's on my Instagram page if you scroll all the way down, and it was such a fun car to drive, but obviously the reputation of BMW kind of precedes it, and when it got to a certain age and a certain mileage, things started to go. So so yeah, right as the pandemic hit, we got rid of that car. We got a great deal on a trade on that car, and I bought a brand new Honda Accord, and it was manual, and I didn't know any of you guys back then, so it was more of a practical day-to-day car. And you know, not to speak anything negative on another automotive company, but it was just, there was no emotion in that drive. Even with a manual, there was zero emotion. So we lasted about a year in that car, and then I started the search for an F80.
Nice.
And for years I've been followers of people within our group, so
Dubsest,
Galley M3, RS6 Quattro at the time when he drove his M3. I followed all of our friends in the car group, but I never knew they were in Ottawa. They were the inspiration, I guess, the social media inspiration for it. So it took me a year and a half to find a clean one in Toronto, where I found this one.
It's a beautiful, beautiful spec. The color I love.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because it's the thing I liked the least was the color, but it had a clean record. It was the least BMW with low mileage. The warranty was still on it for a couple more years, so I said, you know what, if I really hate the color, I'll just wrap it, or worst case repaint it. And then yeah, we made an offer on it. They accepted it. We drove down a couple weeks later, and picked it up and drove it back home. And I remember driving home on the 401. For anyone who lives in Ontario, the 401's a high-speed highway. I must have been driving no faster than 80, being passed by like Dodge Caravans.
Less than Terry's speed.
Yeah, I was being passed by everybody, and I was so afraid of getting a rock chip. But a really feel-good moment for me was my wife was like, "You bought this car to drive it, just pin it," and from then on it was over.
That's
so
awesome. Well, actually, it's when you met the rest of us, then it was game over.
It was game over. Yeah, it was game over. My checking account has never look the same since meeting all of you guys.
But with that, I mean, I think it's a beautiful car. I love what you've done with the car. The mods are so tasteful. Why do you call it the F80 Curse? So
it's, you know, I remember, so when I started modifying the car, you know, and this is almost a thank you note to both Gally and Lucas, but they started modding in the generation early. So the F80 generation started 2015, 2016. So we're 2022 now. I met you all in I guess late 2020.
Yeah, like the early parts of the pandemic.
Early parts of the pandemic. So we're 4 or 5 years into a generation, and you know, you can tell they've tried everything. They've tried to maximize on every modification to spend their money where it makes sense. So, you know, a thank you to them is they were amazing coaches and guides throughout the way. I'd talk to Gally a lot about what I was planning on doing, and he would say, yeah, that's a great idea. There's good return on that mod. Here's where you should spend your money. Here's where you shouldn't. And it was great because as I was modifying the car, every mod thrown on it enhanced the car's look, and it just it
drove
brought
better
it
too.
yeah, and it drove great, and it brought it to life. But then I realized throughout the journey is and I remember I got an Instagram comment once where someone said, this is another Dubsess copycat build. And I realized that's where the curse is the curse is in there's so much available, but the stuff that you want to do, you're replicating what the people modifying early in the generation did, and they've perfected the look. So the curse is, it's in one hand you have literally a candy store of parts, both affordable and not, but all the range through the pricing spectrum. But trying to be an individual in modifying your F80 is extremely difficult. There's somebody there who's done everything you want to do. When your build starts to get to the point where it's almost finished, you realize you can put it next to somebody. So if I park next to Galley and Dubsess, you're basically just taking their builds and just changing the outer color. And there's a couple of things that are unique, but that's the curse. You have such an availability of parts and mods, but it's really difficult to be an individual.
But at the same time, when you take these cars and make it an OEM plus, because that's kind of, you want to be tasteful, you want to keep it usable, on a daily basis as well, right? And there's only so far you can go with the mods as well, right? It's true. So when you look at Dubsess and Galley M3, they've maximized to some extent what you can do with the car. Even though it may be identical in terms of what the mods are, I think the color, the combination of the wheels, that's where the individual aspects come in, and I think that's really cool. Yeah,
and it's funny you say that, because when I was shopping for the car, and I had given my list of requirements to the dealers here where we live and in other cities, I said, I can't get a white one, and I can't get a blue one. Like, I gave them a list of colors that I couldn't get, because my intention always from the beginning was to modify right away. And I ended up with the thing I like the least, which is funny. But I my wife says it all the time. She says that the car has grown its own identity. And the color is a big part of the identity, so never change it. And I've really embraced it. So
that's really good. So when you got the car, did you buy it with the intention of taking pictures and doing video and creating content for Instagram?
I totally did. As vain as it sounds, there was a big factor there that, I seeing Lucas and Galley do it, I'm like, there's an opportunity here to grow a presence on social media. And my original social media page was a travel related page, and it gained a lot of traction in the early days. And then I completely switched it to a car page, and the traction continued. So anyone who's on Instagram or YouTube knows you get that addiction to
the likes and the follows.
Oh, 100%. But it's also paved the way for a lot of opportunity. I never would have met you if it wasn't for Instagram. That's how I first messaged Galley, who invited me to come for coffee with everybody. So, as vain as it is, on the other side, it's opened up friendships and relationships that are so invaluable now.
I think the BMW just has an enormous social media following.
It does. And when you talk about Audi, we have friends in the group that own Audis, and I think the one big complaint we hear all the time is a singular mod will cost you the price of 3 mods on an F80.
It's so true.
So your mod budget is drastically impacted. Your availability of what you can get is drastically impacted. And it kind of slows you down.
What would you say are some of the key mods that really transform the car for you?
Yeah, so I think it's 3 things, and this is the sort of template that, again, our friends have put us on. And I think you and I both suffered from following that same template, but it's wheels, suspension, and exhaust. So one of my requirements was, when I bought the cars, I needed it to have an M Performance exhaust, the M Performance titanium exhaust. Lots of F80s came my way, and I was starting to lose hope, but then one came back with the M Performance exhaust, and it literally saved me $10,000, just being able to get that. And then wheels and suspension. I think within a week I had a set of wheels. Didn't really like them, but they were a great price. And then I was lucky enough through mainly like Galley and Lucas to develop a relationship with Alois lightweight wheels in Germany.
Most concave wheels for this offset.
Absolutely. They're lightweight. You can lift up a wheel with one hand, and with no rubber, obviously. But
this is why he has a spare Alois wheel in the back seat.
That's right. Take it with me. Like it's a good luck charm. But I got my first set of, I would say, really good high quality wheels from Edelweiss, and just been, to Eric and Alex, who I've been working with them for the last couple of years. The customer service is unbeatable. My wheels are mounted, balanced with rubber, shipped on a Monday, and they arrive on my doorstep from Germany.
Not 9 months. Like certain other wheels,
Yeah. They arrive on my door 3 to 4 business days later.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable customer service, robust and safe, and the offsets are correct. But they've just been good to me since day one, and I'm on my second set in 2 years. So if that proves to anybody sort of my review on them, that 2 sets in 2 years.
So like, what's next? I mean, we've done kind of the big ticket items for the car. Are you going to touch the interior, mod the interior?
I get asked that question a lot now from people, especially on social media. Sort of, what's your next step? And one of the hardest things now to swallow, to stomach, is there's no such thing as a $500 mod anymore.
Not on the inside.
Not on the inside.
Well, actually, no, maybe.
A new mirror, or maybe something hanging from the mirror.
Carbon fiber bit here and there.
Here and there, yeah. But every mod now worth investing in is north of $5,000.
Like seats, for example.
Like
right?
Seats.
Yeah.
Seats, wheels, steering wheel. They're big mods. So I'm really being cautious about what to do, because if a set of wheels doesn't work out, you put them on the resale market, you make some back, you get a new set, you put them on, or you talk to Lucas and he gets you a good set. But seats is definitely on my list of things to do.
Can you list out the top 3 things that make this car special to you?
I think the number one thing will probably be the year. So it's the last year that the F80 M3 was in production.
Oh, okay.
In 2019 and 2020, I think the only M3s that produced were the CS. So the special edition ones.
Yeah.
So it's the last time that you kind of factory order a plain Jane M3. So I think that's number one. But I think number 2 is more of a personal thing. I look at the people who have become friends of ours, and I look at this build as an ode to them. Like it's paying respect to the people who have
homage to.
Yeah, it's paying homage to Dubcest and Galley M3 and all the people that have come before you and have probably sunk 2 or 3 times more money trying to get it right.
Yeah.
Picking the right wheels, the right companies. It's an homage to them. It's a respect to them to say thank you for paving the way, and now here's the fruits of all your experience in someone that you're coaching.
That's right.
And the third thing is, just like anybody else, I think it's a really unique experience when you buy your dream car. Mm-hmm. You find my dreams have changed since I've bought it.
Yeah.
But those first few days driving it's an unbelievable experience, and I think everybody in their lifetime, and it doesn't matter what your dream car is, it could be a
Miata.
It could be a Miata, Civic Type R, it could be an AMG Mercedes, Porsche GT3 RS, whatever. I think everybody at some point, even if you do it for a year, and have a blast that summer and then ditch it because you went broke driving it that summer, everybody needs a season of driving your dream car.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. So now that you have achieved your dream car and your dreams are evolving, what's kind of next in that dream world?
I think it's going to be an addition to it.
Yeah.
I don't ever see myself getting rid of it. I think I've just grown so attached to it. My wife has grown attached to it. My son has grown attached to it.
Yeah.
To my friends outside our group, it's become a part of my identity. Yeah. So, I mean, my wife and I love the BMW brand. She's now become an M addict. So she wants to add an X5M to the stable.
Nice.
And then since meeting you, Porsche has become, and what's funny is I've never liked Porsche.
Yeah.
I was never a fan. It was never on my radar. The effect of your friends that come around you, you get influenced by it, and now sort of a Carrera 4S or GTS is on our radar because we would also want to mod that.
I think a modded 911 is. So would you consider this your forever car potentially?
I think it will be a car that is registered to us forever. Yeah, for sure.
Last thing I want to touch on, your Instagram handle.
Yes.
Give us a bit of history on where this came about.
So Spoon has been my nickname since school. I don't know if I'm ready to reveal that to the world yet, but Spoon's been my nickname since I've been in school. Actually, if you ever see me around, anyone watching this video, if you yell out Spoon, I'll turn around.
Spoon.
Yeah, so I'll respond to it. And Old just got added when I was younger. I used to play a lot of video games, so when I signed up for I think it was an Xbox membership, I tried using Spoon and it didn't accept it. and the next available thing was Old.
Ah.
So that's how Old got added, and it's been carrying like that for years and years. But
so as you age, is it going to change? You know, I'm
like
old spoon
older,
now, or granny spoon.
yeah. It can. I mean, the moniker Spoon, you can add anything to it, so it's good. Yeah, but
That's awesome.
it's just been my nickname for years and years. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you very much for kind of sharing kind of your journey with this car. It's always fun. Like, I know I say this as well. Nicest person I know. Always out there to help with like no intention of wanting something back in return. You know, so it's amazing. So thank you very much for kind of getting on this video with me and doing this with me.
Oh, it was super fun. Remember to like, subscribe.
Oh, there you go. He kind of closed it off.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.
That was good, man.
There you go.
That was organic.
Yeah, there's a cop behind Jeff now.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
They're gonna pull us over for this.
Not if we're going to speed limit now. Can you get him in the shot?
Yeah.
Jeff, do something stupid so he turns his lights on.
Can you get closer, Jeff? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, close.
You gotta say something now.
100% he is.
Pulling up beside you? Yeah.
This is a signature dev thing, like content.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going for his morning coffee. See ya.
Okay, keep up. Too fast. Get matchy with the bus, Jeff.
Matchy with the bus. Let me know when you're ready, Purple.
Okay, go.
Go. Oh, sorry, Jeff.
That's all right.
Yeah, I'm turning right here.
Okay.
I was looking at the camera. I want to see the shot too.
Oh, we would not have had a car to do this further.
It was looking so good. I wanted to see it.